Hello, it's Brad Dohack, Gulf Point Properties, and we have a lot to report in this month's market report. So a lot has happened since coronavirus started. I was watching the news the other day, which I don't like to do, but I was watching the news and they said it had been 100 days since the first case was reported in New York. Can you believe what has changed in the past 100 days? It's unbelievable. But here we are. Florida is now open in phase 2, and here's a quick report on how the real estate market is recovering. Now, the latest stats that we have come from April, and that is the height of the pandemic. And what I'd like to do to give some perspective on this is show you a graph from a showing service called Showing Time. And what they do, that basically gives us a really good analysis of what has happened and what is happening now of showing requests throughout the state of Florida. Now, this graph gives us a fantastic representation of that demand that we experienced throughout the pandemic and now on the other side of that. So if we take a look at this graph, you'll see we have the blue line and the orange line. They were tracking pretty near each other, and actually the orange line is this year 2020, and that was actually a little bit lower, so we're having a few less showings going into coronavirus than we had earlier and last year. And then you see all of a sudden come coronavirus, March into April, and that number goes down significantly. At one point around April 10th, we actually saw showings down around 70% across the board, which you would expect. We were on lockdown. We would expect that. But what's most interesting about this graph is the recovery, to see how we are recovering from that. And we actually now are selling more, well, we have a higher demand than we had pre-COVID, pre-quarantine, pre-lockdown. So there's a significant rebound in demand compared to where we were. Now, there's a few things that are at play here. Number one, we have fantastic interest rates. That is the case. That's apparently going to continue to be the case. Secondly, a lot of people who are in quarantine figured out, maybe I need to make a move. Maybe I need a pool home. Maybe I need a bigger home. Maybe I need smaller space. And also, we're finding a lot of people from up north are finding their way down to Southwest Florida. Heat and humidity kill the virus almost instantly, according to the CDC. That's a good thing because that perfectly describes Florida as far as I'm concerned. So that is a huge factor. The other thing that's interesting about the market reports is that we have the median price of a single family home in Collier County was down 7% year over year, whereas the median price point in Lee County of a single family home was up 3%. So we have a little variation there between the two counties, more than we typically see. So very interesting factoid. I will say that I am surprised at how well the real estate market is doing. I would not have expected that or predicted it based on the fear that I saw in the marketplace, and I thought that may have more of an impact on people making big decisions. But what we're seeing right now in the marketplace is that is actually having a completely different effect, and that there is a significant amount of demand. So there are deals to be had, but if you're a buyer, please, the lowball strategy is not something that is working in today's market. If you are a seller, there is this is still a seller's market. However, what I will tell you is there is definitely the possibility of overpricing property even in the market with the demand that we have currently. So if the property is priced correctly, marketed appropriately, chances are we'll get a buyer in a very quick time. We had one of our agents in the office put a property on the market on Saturday, sold on Sunday. I listed a property on a Thursday, sold on a Monday. So these things are happening in the marketplace, but you've just got to price right, market right, and we will attract the right buyer. So that's it for this month's market report. Can't wait to bring you the next one because it is changing rapidly, and I love that. Talk soon.